And we are back. Would you like to do more reading? The greatest innocence. Yep, that's just straight up her on the cover. This dusty tome brings knowledge on the history of the innocences. It is written by one Joao Paolo Saloma Lopez de Fuego, the masked fascist. Who tries to reach a conclusion on which of the innocences is the coolest in the world. Oh boy. Book is large and heavy. Crack open this immense tome. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events, historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts in your brain. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No? Well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready? Sure. Why not? That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Oh, yeah. This is what I was made for. Oh my god, how many experience points am I about to get if you're going to keep triggering over and over again? That's so? Alright, go on. Give me all the hints you got. A pop quiz is a short... No! You fool! No. No. Encyclopedia, no. A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila! Now blast that first innocence. Thanks for nothing. Dolores D.A. Dolores D.A.? Incorrect. You lied to me, pain threshold. Dolores D.A. Yeah. It seemed like she wasn't the newest one, based on the context, but I fell for it because of stupid brain lying to me. Incorrect. Dolores D.A. was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among those, the moral lantern, she was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises in the back of your throat and it hurts. You see a flash, silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? What? Wait, who's pop quizzing me right now? And making me think that Dolores makes me have stomach acid rise to the back of my throat. What? I assume this is somehow reminding me of the woman that I'm not with anymore. Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. What? A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores D.A., who was the first innocence. It wasn't Dolores D.A. Sola? Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She's often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn of the century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Gotta try again? The Perny Carnassian? Correct! Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Conegro presumed as such and called him pious. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way of measuring that love. As with the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everyone knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. Sure, try again. I trust you've got my back. An innocence is an innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule of the Occident, or the known world in general. At least, the parts that matter. Yes, so interesting. But I thought you'd give me the answer to the question. Well, the good news is at least Encyclopedias are going to pay me back for the entire book that I bought at this rate. I can do better. Okay, so commonly, an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help? No. Damn. Dolores. Vesper Messia? Incorrect. Vesper Messia is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. They used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vesper and Messina. Care to try again? Franco Negro? Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolary real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. Are you going to be helpful this time? I could use a hint. Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party during the time of Pericarnassian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spent its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. Sigh heavily, out loud. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores D.A. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful. Stephen the Despicable? Incorrect. Stephen the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedranic conquest instead of the despotic Eno-Perstenek. Would you try again? Eno-Perstenek? Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stephen the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch, you come so far and learn so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence, the most important of them all, the most precious to humankind? I've got it. Honest. Okay, are you sure this time? I'll bite. Hit me. Of course. This is my thing, the reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro. You're absolutely certain of this. Zero doubts. Incorrect. Well, Franco Negro built concrete churches and cathedrals, and while many people, especially the Mesk, consider him a father figure due to his militarism and nationalism, João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego argues differently. Another choice, perhaps. Oh, yes, militarism and nationalism, my bad. Yes, obviously. What's going to be Dolores D.A.? Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of the nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores DA has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from interstellar travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results of your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone really expected better. I failed every question, didn't I? You would have done better if you just left Dolores DA for the end. Dial the Dolores DA down a bit. Damn you, you arrogant book. The lieutenant is jolted awake by your furious cursing. What's going on with you? This book's unfair. Okay. The lieutenant stares at you, his visage unflinching. You are shouting at an inanimate object like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. This book's still taunting me. Put it away. Now that I'm done being a lunatic, would you like to play Suzerainty? There's a new genocide option. In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods into the ship while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relation between the Revacholian Suzerainty and its many vassals. Shake the box. The box has nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions. Twilight Imperium? Remove the plastic wrap. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a Bodis in a tawdry historical romance. Alright, we're fetishizing our board games. Open the box. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Ah! Savor the new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard. Read the rulebook. Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel. Economic strategy, more like rapacious plunder and exploitation. The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, howling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling. You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out. The illustrations are opaque at first, and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator of the Suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the Suzerains. Fuck it, I'm always in my own head about this word. I've never encountered this word in my life outside of this game, but it is a word.
Suzerain.
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 Suzerain. It's blah 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 blah. Your objective is to increase the Suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points. How do you accumulate victory points? That's where the Suzerain's vassals and I don't know why I said and, there isn't an and. That's where the Suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed the workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Read. Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty. but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly. Sounds like Suburbia? Is that what it was called? There's a city building hex-based tile game I played a few times now with Marty. I think it's called Suburbia. One of the most important strategies in that game is to pick a particular niche that you're wanting to farm your points out of and completely commit to it. Because if you diversify, you just don't accomplish anything. But that develops a game of chicken because only the person who does the most at a particular thing really gets credit for it. So if two people are both charging down the same resource or strategy, then it's like a game of chicken where one of them has to, like, there's a question of who's going to flinch. Because the more you invest in the same thing as each other, the more likely you are to reach a situation where one of you just completely gets nothing and you don't know which one it's going to be, because it's going to be a constant game where you're just daring each other. How is the winner determined? The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. Let's look at the components. You open a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that you need to be punched out before you can play. Punch them out one by one. This will take hours. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ka-chink as you pop it out. Soon a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you. A good, orderly task that leaves you feeling relaxed and accomplished. What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out? Aww. Kim feels not included. So he seems curious. Check out the wooden tokens. In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Evrart, the ancestral name Evrart, gray marble block tokens. From the Semenine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from the Supramundi and Sara Marisa, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves. Oh, those are nice. Lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Put the components away. You hold the open game box before you. Kim seems interested in this, so hey Kim, you want to play? The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide. Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. Well, that'll do nicely for me. I have about 7 hours to go before I can open that fucking box. And by open, I mean try. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game. Oh, suggestion! Why did I make this character this way? Why did I do this to myself? Why did I make this character like this on purpose? Who would do this? I can try twice, which is not really great for me. -2 from thoughts. Don't I have a -2 from... Yeah, the fucking Wumpty Dumpty Dumps are in the... It's a really powerful skill, but it reduces a skill by 2. That's specifically one of the things that I can't get higher. What a dick of a skill. I definitely would have probably built my character differently if I fully understood how this game worked. But like, you just kind of wing it. In part because you have to like fully understand how you have to know all the context of like how alcohol and drugs work, whether or not you're going to use alcohol and drugs, how white checks work, and a bunch of other systems that you only really fully understand like 5 hours into the game or more. You definitely don't understand them when you're making your character. They're like, oh, you're it's more so than even your skills themselves. You're changing how many times you can redo white checks by choosing which things to invest your points into. It's like I'm not really on the verge of maxing out any of these skills that I actually have open. But I do constantly cap out all the ones that I can only put like 1 point into. And I have not been gifted with a ton of skills that let me move these things a little further. Bonus from item 0. Do I... Damn it, Kim. Suggestion +1. I must have like a -1. It's my shirt. Now I'm just a pile of tanky goodness. Empathy is a bit mixed. My suggestion's at a positive now, at least. That's... Alright. Wait, it's still only +1? Oh yeah, because that's what it is overall. The thing I added didn't make it go higher, just made it stop going lower. I get one more try, basically.
Yes.
That's not how that works. Ooh. Intriguing components is all I have going for me right now. If I'm considering putting a point into suggestion, I should definitely check my other suggestion checks. If I have any. Just the one for fucking. Nope, it's just Suzerainty in the washroom one. That's the two I was thinking of. If I'm thinking about doing this, I should definitely at least try both checks then. Wait, but I don't want to try the check with her, do I? Because if I try the check with her, I'm getting her to sign her house away. So I really want to try to... So I do want to forge it so that he only realizes later that the whole thing was a bust. Can I mail it without forging it?
Hi again.
Then it's it. Because then it's incomplete, but he won't notice until it's too late. We're close.
True, hard, full, car. Hardcore. Hardcore to the mega.
Oh, right.
Here comes the night.
No.
True, hardcore. Hardcore, internally coherent. Good morning, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeko kata. The hardcore play. True, hardcore. Hardcore, internally all core. All right. Hardcore.
So hardcore. It is.
I mean, really.
Questions was the question.
Seriously, I'm a bit worried it isn't.
I did? He frowns, then starts bobbling his head back and forth once more. Wait, have I not picked that one before? The skin on your back is crawling. For a second you can't hear the music anymore. There's a hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, right next to the canal. Don't be alarmed, everything's okay. He isn't actually worried. Everything is super hardcore. What he actually means is it could be even more so. There's a hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, right next to the canal. You said you were worried. What do you think is wrong with the music? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still in love with the hardcore. He turns pensive all of a sudden. Sometimes I just feel like anodic music is in its infancy, you know? For example, take this Arno van Eyck jam I've been pumping for the last month, and will continue pumping for the rest of 51. Isn't something holding it back from being hyper? He thinks for a moment, then his expression clears. It's like it's only ultra. I think it's super hardcore, but you're right, it's not hyper hardcore. If anything, it sounds a bit proto, like it's not fully formed yet. You might be a morbid alcoholic and a failed cop, but you are pretty certain that a thing cannot be both proto and hardcore. It's proto, not hardcore at all. Whoa, culture cop. I think you might be right, but how could it become hardcore then? I know it's in my heart, cannot think it in my head. If this is not hardcore, how could anything be? Wait, I just remembered something. I'm the police. Try to think if anything can make it harder core. What? He looks at you with customary amazement. Guys, there's something happening in his head. Think even harder. Oh yeah, he's doing it. I know. Oh, my imagination fails me. I know, so does mine. He laughs and shakes his head. But there's something else that hasn't failed you. Sounds suspiciously like a question. I thought the question was, what is the question? No, this is the answer. Wait, I just remembered something. I'm the police. Uh-huh. The young man is busting with anticipation. Nothing. Me being the police isn't going to help us. Oh. Actually, it's more likely to hinder us. Oh. I can't help you with this right now. I need something else, something extra. Yarg! He's not even the slightest bit disappointed. Expert on anodic music. I have to be a physical instrument. It's another physical instrument test. Maybe your body can tell you what Arno van Eyck's jam is missing to make it harder core. Are you a thought reader? Not nation, but transnation. No war, but class war. So you're not a thought reader, you're a communist? He's not a communist. That's just something he likes to yell. He picked it up from a tape jockey at the Elysium. She was a communist, though. Yeah, with a rebel yell. Cried more, more, more. Does that mean you're a thought reader? Don't be a lunatic. Of course he isn't. Jermaine here just yells random things. Odds are sooner or later one of them will come off as thought reading. Yeah, reverential imperative. Unless you were thinking reverential imperative right now. Anyway, I've had a similar thing happen with eggs yelling. I know what you mean. But I was thinking reverential imperative. That's fucked up, man. Lying like that. And a cop, too. But why aren't you a communist? Communism is the truth. I can't be a communist, he nods. If you want that, do you want me to be a communist? Please don't turn him into a communist. Oh yeah, turn him into a communist. Come on, it would be super. Be a communist, egghead. The future needs your help. He yells. You guess he's a communist now. What is this game? Tell me something else, egghead. Communism rules the nation. He looks at you with an almost impossibly wide, shining grin, looking to see if you approve. Right on, comrade luminary. Here comes the sun. Hey, Beatles references. You could swear you feel the bright future of the working classes reflecting off Germaine Egg's head. Germaine Egghead's final... My sense of where the apostrophe S should be in that title is going all over the place because I keep thinking it's reflecting off of his egghead, but I guess it's gonna be going off as a smile. You swear you could feel the bright future of the working classes reflected off Germaine Egghead's giant smile and right into your face. Revolution makes her toes curl in anticipation. Is her real name Germaine? The chord hardcore Germaine Egghead. Basically it is. Why are there lungs on your belt buckle? Lungs are for love? Why would lungs be for love? When Dolores Dye was anointed innocence, her lungs started glowing from her body. For the world loved her and she loved it back, Yarg. Why wouldn't they be? Are the lungs not the place where you hold the breath of your soul? Really? I think so. Well, the lungs are where you hold the breath of your soul, aren't they? Healy geely. Okay. Oh, my chances are bad. I still need to recover from my sickness. It's gonna take a while. I can't escape my pain. Goodbye, Egghead. All right. Here comes the night. Nope, we're not jiving.
Hi again.
Yep.
So,
Yep. None of them have dialogue about helping me with my problem, but hey, I solved another task on accident while roaming around. I keep doing that. I need a forger. It's raining now instead of snowing, and it's later in the day. I don't know, maybe the hobos will be back. That's 3 diverse individuals that might have certain skill sets if I'm lucky. If they don't... Hey, they're back. Yeah, they just were gone. That weirded me out. Do I have 4 points now? Yes, I do.
Tequila sunset.
Could you and your pals sign this document? Show Evrat's letter. What's this about? He waves his hand apathetically. I'll let my hand address the situation. Maybe you've heard, I used to be a very successful businessman. I've made more than a few lease forms or whatever the fuck they are. He looks around. Anyone's got a pen? The pro's gonna do it. No, unfortunately. I got a freebie. When I purchased a whole carton of cigarettes. He produces a white pen with brown logos. Smoke cigarettes. Get a free pen. Deals don't come any sweeter. The writing under the tiny crown logo reads Royal Extra. Thanks, Rosie. I didn't give him the pen because I briefly had the thought, like, he seems to not have much sense of permanence. He loses track of everything around him, so I'm worried that he's just gonna, like, vanish my pen. So I was curious to see if you can get away with not giving it to him, and apparently he can. He grabs the pen and paper carefully, scribbles on the dotted line next to Lillian's signature. He wrote Idiot Doom Spiral. Alright, well, now I don't have to worry about whether or not Rosie is going to be... Not Rosie. Whether or not Lillian's going to be, signing herself away, because it's a completely different person signed it. You've done a great service to the community, to the RCM, and Revachol. Hey guys, I'm a hero. He hands you the envelope and waves his hand erratically at his companions. Elias, the red-nosed drunk, brings his hand up to his head for a salute. The incapacitated drunk lays there snoring like an ancient rusting tractor. Thank you for your help. He turns to you. Should we go and mail this? I think I saw a mailbox on Plaza. I want to ask these guys a couple of things first. Or do I? Yeah, I don't think I have any booze to sell him for more stories. Maybe later. Well, this might get me in trouble, or maybe absolutely no trouble. Who knows? But if I can convince him that I've done it, maybe I can find my goddamn gun. If nobody gets to look at the document before I mail it, then no one can confirm that I am lying about what I'm doing. I knew we'd get used to this mailbox for something. Yes, for sending mail. Fuck you, mailbox. Jesus Christ. Drop the white envelope into the mailbox. You drop the white envelope into the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail is collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug, Evrart. You know he's going to play you somehow. Alright, let's go head back to Evrart. The lieutenant turns towards the industrial harbor. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late. Exactly the goal. I just want my fucking gun, you asshole. There's going to be a goddamn shootout or execution or murder or rounding up of your civilians for the killings. There's a number of reasons why it might be useful for me to have a gun, but I guess you don't know if I'm on your side or not. Which, you know, I'm not really on your side specifically as an individual. But I'm especially not on the side of these crazy lunatic scary people. Not psyched about those people. Depending on how things play out, our interests are likely to be aligned because I would like Kim to not die. And also me. Pretty much like the top two things. This is where he died. Any follow-up here? This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads Rene Arnaud. Rene left his uniform neatly folded on the table. Take it, it's just there. Who cares? It's not like anyone's gonna need it. Take the uniform. I suppose Rene is not going to be needing it anymore. He studies the uniform. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though. It's, needed for work and all that. Fantastic. Try not to wear it with other similarly colorful clothes, okay? Let's learn. Oh. Give you a nationalist thought. That's unfortunate. A beautifully adorned jacket of the Royal Carabiniers has 3 stars on its shoulders and the word Capitaine written on the chest. Neatly patched here and there, it's impossible not to feel love for the fatherland when you wear it. Bonus volition and pain threshold minus empathy. Royal Carabinier pants gives you reaction speed. Vigilance! These pants are made from synthetic lightweight fiber and designed to let the Carabinier's legs and groin breathe. Red stripes are there to inspire courage, while the gold stripe symbolizes the patriotic flame in the wearer's heart. Ta-ta! That's an appearance. Yes, it is. This is A style, I suppose. This is also, I guess, A style. How does anyone put up with me? Oops. What are you notifying me of? Right. Working on that. Just gotta go all the way down this path again. Whee! It's like intentionally time consuming.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you're already sat on that chair.
That's a weird, inorganic sounding message. Sounds like a video game mechanic explanation. It's done. I mailed the signatures you asked me to mail. The golden boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. He claps his hands together like a child who's just been offered cotton candy. Of course, I already knew this. Another level up. Now I've got 5 points. Ha. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be truly a man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle, you two. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. He nods to the lieutenant, smiling broadly. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun. Nothing is off the table. Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in. Yeah, I didn't actually accomplish anything for him, ultimately. Yay! That's exactly what I hoped for. The signatures I got. I know you plan to force them out with a construction noise. Harry, he shakes his head. By now, you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access make some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces. He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large. So the village is doomed, the lieutenant says grimly. You were there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. He slams his fist on the table, causing some of the coffee to spill. We are going to reset it. This is a table you can slam your fist on and actually make stuff fall over. This looks like a super heavy desk, like it wouldn't shake. Reset, he repeats. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce. What do you mean? Harry, imagine youth center, supermarket, church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with an enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. He leans forward. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking the district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. Youth supermarket church complex? You really expect me to believe that? Yes, I do. I got the center, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry, the wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. I cannot go on. There is true indignation in his voice, and he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. The pain is true. He's seen the kids do worse than that. And then there is a giant statue of him towering above it all. Wait, are you going to erect a statue of yourself? I am not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, kids off speed, and landowners in ozone hating me. That will be my statue, and yours. We're doing it together. I knew you were up to something. Damn straight I'm up to something, Harry. The fist lands on the table again. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job, just like yours is to keep the peace. Did you order the hanged man killed? Order it? You know my men didn't kill him. They told you it was a happy accident. You know how it is. It is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself, and I'm too fat for that. Why are you so fat? What do you gain from him being dead? Why, a war, of course. And what do you have to gain from a war? Victory, Mr. Kutsragi. I have a victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. I can just keep repeating this Hornets thing to people forever and ever and ever. They're trained military people. Aren't you afraid for your men? Harry, we outnumbered them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol and with with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. How is this connected to the strike? Harry, there is no strike, only war, class war, or in business terms, a dawn raid. Or, wait. He pauses to rub his chin. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give them nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it from the for the people, and fuck Wild Pines. The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often. That's why you haven't let Joyce in. Yes. It's also why I let that midget go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her asshole. She has no chance. Why are you telling me your plans? Because we're friends, Harry. Because it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. He looks at the swordfish clock and nods. It's already happening. Now? Who killed the hanged man? No idea. Could have been my own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a fat kiss from Evrart Clare. Couldn't have done it without him. He really doesn't know. A guy, huh? How do you know it's a guy? I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know. He really doesn't. How many of you guys are there in the Union? 2,372, he replies like a whip. Plus yours truly, of course. How are you going to fund your new independent harbor? Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients who will ditch us? Harry, we've thought of everything. Everything? We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams. That's drugs. Drug trafficking. Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kutsaragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isla. You don't need to be a colonist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. There's people That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. That's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad. He makes air quotes. Has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debiteurs Union, however, were all about the large volume column. In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. He slams his fist on the desk once more. So your sick kid can get his benefed, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off Risperizal. Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and Risperizal is used to treat severe psychosis. Yes, keep name dropping things that make my brain give me $2. Where do I get this real superpower? And the kids on the streets can get speed and pyroholidin. I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kutsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. He smiles. Yeah, what happened to the get the kids off drugs youth center? But also here's more drugs? He smiles. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez. Ah. He's basically admitting it. Thank you, $2 more. You're just showering me with the stuff. Oh my god. Is Ruby helping you secure this fantastic share? Harry, if I was supplying raw materials to drug manufacturers, I would need an army of rubies. Lieutenant nods slowly. Understood. I have to admit, that's a well put together plan, and far removed from you. He smiles slyly. It's also far removed from my men and the people of Martinez who've put their trust in me. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is built as but a small part of Martinez. So is there a trade or isn't there? Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music, young mothers who want to start businesses, models who want to walk catwalks, and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm going to unite them all in one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's going to be in on the wealth, and everyone's going to pull their weight. Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it. That's very ambitious. I love what you're doing for the working man. Thank you, Harry, thank you. He bows courteously in the chair. You have no idea how much it means to me, because in many ways you are that working man. You've already done so much work. Can I ask you about specific union members? We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. His eyes are shining. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He points to the door. He loves to run his mouth on such matters, but I'm in big-time mode, Harry. There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode. He didn't quite admit it. He was like adjacent to it. Tip of the iceberg. I need to just keep complimenting him. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. Their little oh. He was almost admitting to it. Am I actually supposed to do that? Am I actually supposed to say that out loud? Maybe you can't get him to admit to it because he knows better. Hold on, I don't want to look at the big picture. I want to look at that drug trade he almost admitted to. No, no, Harry, that's boring, he sighs. Alright, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant slice of revenue, I'm cutting it. Boys, he looks around in the container. Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporating socialism I'm offering? Did I just cancel the drug trade? That's interesting. Harry got queasy. Can I get my gun now? Harry, I've got to be honest with you. He turned solemn. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. You bastard. Your gun is with an old woman, he says, absolutely unperturbed by your outburst. I hear she's a character, so watch out. This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one who he described as terrifying. So the gun's still with the woman who bought it from Roy. Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. He smiles. He smiles, shakes his head. No, and is what's... Okay. He smiles and shakes his head in wonderment. Crazy stuff, Harry, selling your gun like that. Wild. Anyway, the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men. Because they trust me and the debitors' union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance of her building. Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does. She was waving it around people? As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. He smiles. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt. We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out. But who is this old woman? Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry, but she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs. The Pigs? She calls herself the Pigs. Confusing. Right, like the tense of it is weird. So you don't even know who she is. And also you didn't get the gun. You couldn't even use your Hardy Boys to get the gun for me. So it's like you've barely done anything for me, just like I've barely done anything for you. We're mutually just awful to each other. I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally someone calls themselves a pig. A smile flickers in the corner of his mouth. Can you set up a meeting? I already have. He holds out his index finger. Tonight, starting at 22 o'clock near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, he claps his hands. Back to the fun stuff. Okay, so we're not going after Ruby today then. Because I can't get my gun until 22. It would be unideal to not have it. She'll be there from 22 to 0200. More fun stuff. He looks at you. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do. That's it for now. Great, Harry. Great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We've united the RCM and the Debitors Union. Suddenly there's sadness in his tone. This, he points to you and then himself, has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. I have a few questions about the harbor. No, I don't. We're done here. We are done here, and maybe I can stop making more trips to here for now. Just maybe.